Hello and welcome to Simply inTAXicating. We are very close to the GST D-Day, July 1st. Confusion persists with respect to various issues, and perhaps it will get multiplied as we approach the D-Day and the post-July 1st. However, we have received quite a few emails from small SSEs where they have confusion with respect to how to calculate the rupees 20 lakh exemption threshold. We have four distinguished panelists with us. We have Mr. K Garg, Advisor, Financial Resources to the Chief Minister of Punjab and former TIOL, CBEC. We have Mr. Madan, representing Confederation of All India Traders Association. We have Mr. Anil Bhardwaj, General Secretary, FISME, and we have Mr. Sivasubramanian, Director, Lakshmikumaran and Sridharan. Let me start with Mr. Garg. How exactly this 20 lakh threshold, how exactly it works, sir, for a small industry?
Shailendra, this is, I think, the most misunderstood provision. There is no threshold of exemption. There is a threshold of registration. We must distinguish in the two things. The moment you register at whatever point, you are liable to pay tax. But you are not liable to be registered if you have a turnover up to 20 lakhs. The second point is that in any case, your product may be purely exempted. Let's say you are dealing with wheat or cereals, these kind of things. There is no liability to pay either on a forward charge and therefore also not on the reverse charge. I think there we have no doubt.
Right.
This provision will only apply when the supply is liable to a GST. So the idea is there is no exemption threshold. Instead, there is a registration and compliance threshold. You have exempted a small guy from compliance formalities up to 20 lakhs.
Right.
You have shifted his compliance formalities at the other end.
Okay.
In the process, the damage that has been done is that the bigger guy and the registered guy will say, why should I buy it from that? Because let's not forget, for example, I have a bill. I want to buy some piece of paper for my computer. I would be reluctant to buy it from somebody who's not giving me an invoice. Unnecessarily, I'll have to issue an invoice, pay a tax myself. I want to claim an income tax deduction. I may not even be interested in ITC.
Right, absolutely.
Yes. Now, I would not even get an income tax deduction if the moment I book a bill, I have to also pay GST. That will make me very reluctant to buy it from small traders.
I just want to make one point here. Of course, maybe like the legal interpretation will have it. But I would just point out that the liability to pay tax on a particular good is also linked to the person concerned. Like if I am a composition dealer, still, please, qua the person, my liability actually comes down. Please note that. In that case, there is no reverse charge also. Okay, so therefore, we could still have this one on it, but what I am saying is it is not that when I am given an exemption for registration, the intention perhaps was that yes, up to 20 lakhs. Even now, if you really look at it, there is in excise or in VAT, up to a particular, the exemption is that the clearances up to so and so is this one, and then there is no registration for that. Yes, I do agree. I hope some exemption like that also is brought into force by the government. In that case, the exemption for the goods and the exemption from registration both will kind of coalesce, and to that extent there would be a greater clarity in the market. But I would say yes, even in the current this one, qua the person, the rate could also vary. To that extent, I would say if I am already within the 20%, 20 lakh limit, maybe qua me, I would still claim some kind of an exemption because I am not required to pay. But there is no corresponding exemption, I do agree with that, but I think the government should come up with some kind of an exemption like that.
Okay. Now given this, the state of affairs, there are a lot of confusion, a lot of doubts, a lot of clarity is required. As you rightly suggested that even on Twitter you are getting a run-of-the-mill kind of reply, no clarity, product specific, etc. So are you in favor of postponement of GST from July 1st to September or August or something like that? What has been your organization's
I think one would be inclined to do that, I would say. For example, we are getting a lot of complaints from several states that they are finding difficulty in migration. As simple and as first step like migration. Although it is said that all who are registered dealers would automatically migrate, but there is a caveat that they would be given a specific number, the number you have to put. but that number, the login password itself are not coming. Sometimes there is no, the right kind of PAN number is not tagged with the account. All those kind of problems are coming. But what is creating a larger concern is that, I think staff at the lowest end, when, people go out and meet, for example, a delegation went day before yesterday in Faridabad. And for 2-3 hours, there was quite, you can say, a commotion in the office, but they could not get the right kind of answers, hand-holding, and they said that we will come back to you, we'll ask. So that means either at the ground level, people are not empowered enough, or there is not enough clarity. So that would make us inclined that maybe if we are not prepared fully, and maybe we would like to postpone it for 1 month or maybe a quarter. That perhaps is
that will help
in the sector.
What about the Confederation of All India
देखिए, हमारा
Traders?
तो ऐसा मानना है कि गवर्नमेंट जो चाहती है, हमें कोई एतराज नहीं है, हमें अपडेट किया जाए, अवेयरनेस आए, हम लोगों को समझाया जाए लॉ क्या है. अभी तक रूल्स की बात करते हैं तो रूल्स बने नहीं है. अब गवर्नमेंट क्या सोच के रोड मैप लेके आई, उनकी क्या बाइंडिंग्स हैं, ये तो हम नहीं जानते. हमें तो तैयार होना है. आप तैयार करेंगे, हम तैयार हो जाएंगे. वो आप 1 जुलाई से करते हैं तो हम 1 जुलाई से तैयार हैं, 1 सितंबर से करते हैं हम 1 सितंबर से तैयार हैं, आप 1 अप्रैल से करेंगे हम तब भी तैयार हैं. लेकिन जो हमारी बेसिक प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, जैसा मैंने बताया कि हमारे पास जो एग्जिस्टिंग स्टॉक है, अब इसका मतलब जो अभी हम बात कर रहे थे थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट या जो जिनको एग्जम्पशंस हैं, उनसे ट्रेडर्स का मैक्सिमम काम छोटे मैन्युफैक्चरर से चलता है. हम लोग जो जैसे मानिए छोटी सी आइटम है, घर के यूज की तवा है, चकला बेलन है, ये लोग जो घर पे बनाते हैं, बड़ी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री से लाके हम लोग नहीं बेच पाते, वो तो मॉल्स में ही बिकता है. जो हमारे ट्रेडर्स है वो छोटे छोटे मैन्युफैक्चरर से लेके आते हैं, उनकी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन भी कम होती है, हमें भी थोड़ा सा मार्जिन मिल जाता है और हम उन लोगों को कम्पीट भी कर पाते हैं. अब उसका सारा का सारा बर्डन हमारे ऊपर पड़ेगा. जो मैंने बताया ओवर द पीरियड हमारे पास स्टॉक पड़ा है, उसका बर्डन भी हमारे ऊपर पड़ेगा. तो हमारी इन्वेस्टमेंट होती कितनी है. और अगर हम पहले की बात करें, जो एग्जिस्टिंग लॉ चल रहा है वैट का, उस पर भी आप देखेंगे जो हम लोगों का, जैसे हम ट्रेडिंग कम्युनिटी से बात करते हैं, तो हमारा ज्यादा करके जो वो इंटरस्टेट बिजनेस है, दिल्ली के ज्यादातर ट्रेडर्स का इंटरस्टेट बिजनेस ही है, उनका ऑलरेडी 4-4, 5-5 साल का रिफंड वैट डिपार्टमेंट में पेंडिंग है. तो जो हमारे, आप यूं मान के चले, जितनी भी हमारी एसेट्स थे वो, या जितना भी हमारा प्रॉफिट था, वो सारा डिपार्टमेंट के पास जमा है. आज भी 4-4 साल के रिफंड लोगों को नहीं मिले हैं. पहली बात तो वो देने के बाद अभी भी वो नहीं मिले हैं. इसके बाद में जो अभी जो हम लोग नया परचेज करेंगे उस पर भी 20% देंगे. जो हमारे पास स्टॉक है उसको भी बेचेंगे, उसका भी एडिशनल 20%. उसमें मार्जिन मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, प्रॉफिट कहां से आएगा, हमें समझ नहीं आती. पहले लोग स्टॉक इसलिए रखते थे कि हमें बेनिफिट होगा. आज मेरी कैपेसिटी 1 लाख रुपए रखने की है तो मैं 1 लाख रखता था, कल रेट बढ़ेंगे, मुझे बेनिफिट होगा. आज मैं पैसा घर में रख के क्या करूंगा, स्टॉक रखो. तो आज हमें तो ऐसा लगता है कि हमने जो स्टॉक रखा वो हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा सेटबैक हो गया. तो गवर्नमेंट को ये सोचना चाहिए कि ऑलरेडी जो चीजें हैं इनको कैसे स्पेसिफाई किया जाए, या लोगों को इसका कैसे रिलीफ मिले, उसके बारे में भी कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना कोई, देखिए बैठे हैं गर्ग साहब, मुझे लगता है कि इस पे कुछ ना कुछ जरूर वो आइडिया देंगे कि हमें कैसे करना. मतलब हम लोग तो बेच ही नहीं पाएंगे, अब पल्ले से डाल के कोई नहीं बेचेगा, वरना हमें कहीं ना कहीं घूम फिर के जिस लाइन पे आप लाना चाहते हैं उसके हट के हमें उस ट्रैक पे ना जाके दूसरे ट्रैक पे करना पड़ेगा. मजबूरन व्यापारी को.
Sir, he has raised 2 important points, sir. One is, of course, we will touch that, sir, whether postponement is desirable, it will help the industry and trade, or it is not. There could be other side of this. Other one is, sir, he's talking about the refund side, so where he's saying that 4 years refund is stuck, so that becomes, their entire investment is locked somewhere. And if the government expects them to pump in more money, perhaps they cannot afford, or they will have to down the shutter perhaps.
शैलेंद्र, एक चीज़ तो देखो हमें माननी चाहिए कि हमें अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 9 साल हो गए जीएसटी की बात करते हुए, और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट 2011 में थी, फिर 2014 में हुई, अब 17 है. और जिस दिन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट को हमने एक तरीके से ऑपरेशनलाइज किया, उस दिन एक डेट तो क्लियर होगी थी कि 15 सितंबर के बाद तो किसी हालात में हो नहीं सकता.
राइट.
और ये टैक्स कभी महीने के बीच में आता नहीं. सो डी फैक्टो जो लास्ट डेट है वो 1 सितंबर है.
राइट.
अब नोटिस पे तो देखो सब लोग आ गए, बट इनकी बात भी बिल्कुल जेन्युइन है कि माल कई सालों का पड़ा
हुआ. राइट.
जीएसटी शुरू करने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि सबका नुकसान किया जाए, इसे कह सकते हैं. और शायद ये इशू बड़े रिसेंटली फ्लैग हुए हैं. अगर आप देखें ट्रांजिशनल प्रोविजन,
Yes.
1-1.5 महीना पुराने लॉ आया, उस पर बहुत हल्ला हुआ, पिछली मीटिंग पे 40 को 60 किया गया। तो आई थिंक गवर्नमेंट इज रिसेप्टिव,
Right.
ये चीज तो आप देखिए कि 40 से 60 हुआ है तो रिसेप्टिव तो हुई है। दूसरी चीज मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि एक लोगों के दिमाग में शंका है, शायद बेस्ड ऑन पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस, पर शायद उस शंका को आपके माध्यम से ठीक करना रहेगा। All the 3 laws, the constitutional law, then the CGST law and the SGST laws, and also further subordinate rules and all those things, they are all coming with very powerful removal of difficulty provisions.
Yes, correct.
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में डिफिकल्टी है, उसको हटाया जा सकता है, एक्ट में है, उसको हटाया जा सकता है,
Correct.
रूल तो आप जब चाहें
तब
आप कर सकते हैं। तो ये मत देखिए कि 1 जुलाई को जीएसटी आ रहा है, पर 1 जुलाई को ये नहीं कि आपकी सारी दुविधाओं का, सारी प्रॉब्लम्स का समाधान 1 जुलाई को होना जरूरी है। तो इसलिए ये सब सज्जन पुरुष जो बैठे हैं, आई थिंक अगर इन लोग अपनी आवाज को तरीके से लॉजिक के बेस पे पहुंचाएं कि सर ये दिक्कत है। गवर्नमेंट क्या चाहती है? गवर्नमेंट इनकन्वीनियंस करना नहीं चाहती, पर गवर्नमेंट ये भी नहीं चाहती कि टैक्स की चोरी हो। आप ये नहीं चाहते हैं कि कोई आदमी माल ले आया है और बोले जी तो 10 साल का पड़ा था, 20 साल पुराना पड़ा था, उसी को निकाले जाए और उसका कोई टैक्स ही ना भरे। तो गवर्नमेंट ने कहा 6 महीने के लिए आप जो भी है एक तरह से निकाल लीजिए।
राइट,
ठीक है ना?
राइट।
अब व्हाट इज द गुड वाई मीडिया, व्हाट इज द गुड बैलेंस, ये बिजनेस के लिए है बताना। किस बिजनेस में, जैसे इनके बिजनेस में ऑटो में तो चीजें पेरिशेबल नहीं है,
राइट, करेक्ट।
किसी और इंडस्ट्री में हाईली पेरिशेबल एक्सट्रीम है।
करेक्ट।
तो अब इस तरह का जब सारा ऑल इंडिया रिफॉर्म है, उसका क्या प्रॉपर बैलेंस है, मेरे ख्याल से ये समाधान बातचीत से ही निकलेगा।
Yes, Mr. Sivasubramanian, you would like to add something, this July versus September episode?
See, whether it is July or September, I'm sure there will be still some issues which will always remain open, and to that extent, there will always be a request that, we are not ready. So, question is it going to be 1st of July? If it is 1st of July, then naturally, the basic thing is the back end of large number of taxpayers is still not ready, because the compliance has come after I get my back end ready. That itself is not ready. To that extent, there is a very severe concern. Which means my reconfiguring of my invoices, my reconfiguring of my processes, right? And then of course, if it's smaller, then of course I can always go and comply subsequently. So maybe whether the GSTN is ready for that particular thing. But initial few months, whether I should pay IGST, CGST, there's going to be a whole lot of confusion. This confusion may remain even subsequently. So to that extent, what government needs to come up with, that even if we want to impose it from 1st of July, maybe whole lot of procedural simplification, and because the opportunity to rectify maybe the first 6 months, whatever I have made in terms of errors, in terms of maybe I charged wrongly or I not charged something, of course. So that kind of a rectification mechanism, if they are able to come up with, then it would be a very, very, I'm sure it's going to be much taxpayer friendly. That's one way of, going about it. The other way is also that, if you want to be very strict about it, maybe you need to give some more time, because the question is the via media between, because it's simple. If I can't upload my invoice properly, then my credit gets blocked. Then whatever I had to pay only through cash. So to that extent, I'm sure it's going to affect the trade. So therefore, where is it you want to be strict? If you want to be really strict, then maybe there is, because of the lack of preparation, some amount of postponement may be warranted, where I can be liberal in terms of subsequent rectification or, error rectification, or for that matter, I can come back and then redo certain things. I think maybe 1st of July would be absolutely fine, because that comfort that I think the trade needs to get. And like what, Mr. Garg was saying, I think that's where I think the dialogue has to be on, and we need to kind of have it that the trade has to understand that yes, these are going to be there on 1st of July, and the rest of it maybe you want to give 1 more month or 2 more months, whatever is the case. Then I think then the preparation could be made according to that.
So, Mr. Bhardwaj, what has been your feedback from a huge number of medium and small enterprises in terms of the stock offtake for the market? Because generally it has been reported also that gradually most of the stocks being cleared and fresh stocks not being sent to the distributors and retailers. Because the target is, the eyes are set on June 30th. Before that the old stock should be cleared.
I think first of all, I would like to say something about the date. See, I mean, I don't have the right number, maybe the government might be having it, but our perception is, or our feedback is that not even 30% of the people who were registered with earlier regimes have migrated as yet.
Okay.
So that means 70-75% of people are yet to migrate. So either the system is not geared up to intake that large a number in such a short time, and that's why it's a problem. And secondly, with regards to the stock that you have mentioned, I think it is increasingly happening, especially in capital good industry, auto industry. So there is a slowdown for the fresh orders, and people are, I think, looking first of all clearing their stocks by 30th of June,
Right.
and then make a fresh start, because even they are not aware fully, you can say confident that how things would play out 1st July onwards. So that would see some kind of a slowdown in month of July and August maybe.
For the GDP also.
Yeah.
So from Mr. Madan, from traders perspective, आप बताएं कि इस पूरे सिचुएशन में आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या रहा है? जो गवर्नमेंट ने इसको टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन बनाया, जीएसटी नेटवर्क की चर्चा जैसा हमने किया, माइग्रेशन जैसा बता रहे हैं, पूरी कंप्लीट नहीं हो पाई है, 30% हो पाई है, आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस है जीएसटी नेटवर्क?
मेरा मानना है कि कहीं ना कहीं ये स्लो डाउन गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से ही है। ये प्रिपरेशंस एटलीस्ट 31 दिसंबर तक कंप्लीट हो जाए, 31 दिसंबर 2016 तक कंप्लीट हो जाना चाहिए, इंक्लूडिंग रूल्स। इसके बाद उनके पास सफिशिएंट टाइम होता, लोगों को समझाते, हमारे पास भी सफिशिएंट टाइम होता, हम समझते, हमें भी बताया जाता। अभी आज की डेट में भी मुझे ये नहीं पता है कि मुझे जो स्टॉक की लिस्ट देनी है, जिसका मुझे आईटीसी लेना है, उसको किस फॉर्मेट में देना, इन ए सेंस आइटम वाइज देना है, चैप्टर वाइज देना है, कोड वाइज, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट अवेयर व्हाट इज एचएसएन। सिर्फ हमने पढ़ लिया, हमने एचएसएन पढ़ा तो हमने चैप्टर से पढ़ा कि ऑटोमोबाइल पे 8708 आता है, तो हमने बोला हमारी तो सब आइटम 8708 में आ गई। Am I right, sir? अगर मैं 8708 डाल के एक क्वांटिटी और एक अमाउंट डाल के अपना स्टॉक दे देता हूं, तो क्या गवर्नमेंट उसको मानेगी? Isn't it? अगर वो नहीं मानेगी तो पहले तो हमें कोड पता होना चाहिए। आप हमें आज अभी तक तो नहीं मिले हैं, मैं कहता हूं कि कल ही मिल जाएंगे। मान लो कल मिलने के बाद जैसे एक एक ट्रेडर, एक एक दुकानदार 2-2 हजार आइटम तक डील करता है, छोटी बड़ी। अब उन सबके कोड पहले हम ढूंढेंगे, उन कोड को हम लोग सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे, अपने साथ मिलाएंगे, और उन्हीं कोड्स के अंदर बहुत सारी आइटमें बहुत सारे रेट की हमारे पास होंगी। जैसे मैंने अभी आपको बोल रहा था, हमारे पास तो कितनी चीजें आज कस्टमर आता है, अगर मान लीजिए कोई लेने के लिए आता है, मान लीजिए स्टीरियो ही लेने के लिए आता है, तो स्टीरियो में भी बाइफर्केशंस हैं, एक 2000 रुपए का, एक 6000 रुपए का, एक 10,000 रुपए का, 60,000 रुपए का है। तो ऑब्वियस है कि उसका भी कहीं ना कहीं कोड में आप डिफरेंस डालेंगे। जब वो डालेंगे तो हम फिर वो देखेंगे हमने कौन से वाले कोड का सेल किया। अभी तक तो हम सिंपल ही करते थे कि हमारे पास आए हुए हैं, बिल है, ईमानदारी से हम लोग जितने भी गए वो बिल कट गए, उसके बाद में जो बचा वो हमारा स्टॉक है, और उसका हमने ऑलरेडी जो कंप्लायंस जिस तरह से थी वो हम करते थे। लेकिन आज तो वो कंप्लायंस तो आप मानेंगे नहीं, मैन्युअली हम कर पाए ये पॉसिबल नहीं है। इसके लिए हमें कहीं ना कहीं अपडेट होना पड़ेगा, कंप्यूटराइज अपने आप को करना पड़ेगा, उसी में पहले सारा स्टॉक फीड करना पड़ेगा, तो ही हम आगे जाके कर पाएंगे। तो उसके लिए जो तैयारी चाहिए हमें, वो उतना सफिशिएंट टाइम गवर्नमेंट ने नहीं दिया। गर्ग साहब ने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, क्योंकि ये दोनों साइड की बातें जानते हैं। जैसा इन्होंने कहा कि भाई रूल्स अमेंड होने के लिए होते हैं, नेचुरली ये रूल्स की प्रॉब्लम है। हम जैसे आपने कहा कि गवर्नमेंट अगर हमें पहले जो स्टेक होल्डर्स है, मुझे नहीं पता कितने लोगों को उन्होंने बुलाया, स्टेक होल्डर्स को बुलाते तो ये छोटी छोटी प्रॉब्लम्स हम बताते, उनको भी इनकॉर्पोरेट कर लेते, तो आज ये लॉ बहुत सुंदर बन जाता। लेकिन आज भी कोई ऐसा लेट नहीं है, जैसा उन्होंने कहा कि जितना इजीली हम लोग कर सकते हैं वो उतना हमसे करवा लें। इसके बाद जैसे टाइम टू टाइम आपको जो चाहिए हम करने के लिए तैयार हैं। एक ऐसा लिबरल व्यू, एक ऐसा एक मन के अंदर ऐसा होना चाहिए कि जो एक कंसेप्शन है कि व्यापारी चोर है, व्यापारी चोर नहीं है। आज हम बात करें तो हम एक दूसरे पे ब्लेम करते हैं, हम ये सब मान के चलें कि एक नेशन को बिल्ड करने के लिए हमने ईमानदारी से आगे बढ़ना है। जो हो गया फॉरगेट इट, लेकिन आज के बाद ये नहीं होना चाहिए। हमारी सोच है कि हम आगे बढ़ें, अपने देश को आगे बढ़ाएं, इकोनॉमी को आगे बढ़ाएं। तो उसके लिए जो भी प्रोविजन गवर्नमेंट करे, सोच समझ के करे, हम उनके साथ हैं।
Sir, he has raised two critical issues, sir. One is, of course, the technology-driven, the GST network, the preparedness, the IT preparedness, where, of course, they lack in, and even the government side GST network has not really come out very well. even in terms of sharing the findings of the beta versions, or what happened in the beta version, because migration itself is not complete. They have just reopened the migration window again on first. Another issue, sir, which he touched that certain rules are not yet ready. For instance, this IGST rules, the export rules, etc. He is also insisting on this outreach program. Probably little efforts to educate those who are not able to understand it. Of course, they will have to rely on professionals, the chartered accountant and consultant, etc., who are going to take care of these aspects, the procedural aspect, which of course will enhance their compliance cost. But the rules are not ready. The government IT platform is not yet ready. Maybe they should also come forward and try to educate the taxpayers. So these two aspects are how, where do you find this, sir?
I think the process of GST, the way I see, is that the first set of things that got released to the public were rather demanding, very demanding. But as the deadline is approaching, the demands are now getting more understood, and therefore one can even use the word more user friendly now. So much of the fear that I see all around is because people saw extremely strict versions of everything. You will have to give HS based code of everything that you have. You have to file your stock statement. Credits have to be matched HS wise, yes, this wise, that wise. I think that is what probably India would be sometime from now. Already you have seen a significant dilution from that, and if some of the things are not ready, you have to understand that the officers are also human beings, and it's not easy to do a GST of this complexity in a country of India's diversity. I don't think people say 160 countries in the world have this kind of a tax. I don't know a single one which has a complexity of the kind that India has. Now, if you are a little more accommodating to the officers, just as the officers should be accommodating to the business, correct, I think we will have a much better and a much simpler and much more friendlier GST. Personally, if you ask me to make a judgment on that, I am extremely hopeful of that.
Right.
And I am even aware that people are working overtime to ensure that no burden is put on business which they are unable to comply, for which they are not prepared as of today for whatever reasons to comply. Just wait for another fortnight.
Another fortnight. So on this note, let me thank all my guests for making wonderful suggestions. And the major takeaways is, as rightly suggested, that on a very, government has been coming out very aggressively in terms of facilitation. The officers are whatever, I mean, for the first time, at least I noticed that on Twitter, at least they are replying. They may not be too specific because this is something new for them, but they are coming forward, they are replying to queries, different kind of clarifications being given. Of course, the traders will have, because they have been traditionally interacting with the local VAT authorities, now the central government authorities will have to interact with them, try to understand their issues, the kind of problems, small problems perhaps they will have, but it is going to eat away their working capital. That is where the government needs to come forward and provide some kind of fencing, so that they continue to survive this cyclonic effect that the GST is going to have on their business. Secondly, if it is postponed for a couple of months, perhaps this may help, although this may eat away the stocks and the festival season which are going to follow soon, perhaps that maybe the consumer, the GDP is going to be impacted negatively. So that kind of risk is involved, where the government will have to perhaps trade off between these two aspects, but giving little more extra time, maybe 1 more month perhaps, if not 2 months, perhaps this will help in terms of higher degree of preparedness for the taxpayers. Certain provisions perhaps can be put in a state of suspension if not necessary, the credit matching, even input-output invoice matching, so many aspects, so many provisions, so that it becomes easier for compliance perspective. So taking into account various concerns of all the taxpayers, this one nation, one tax, let me wish all the best for this new gigantic step forward from 1st July. Thank you for watching TIOL Tube.